easy for them to have that top of mind, because honestly, like I said, they're not making money if there's someone onto that property. And then I think the benefit of having landlords participate in our program is, like I said, that extra layer of support. They'll be placing someone into their property, but they'll know that if there are any issues, any troubles, whatever, that there is a staff member at St. Patrick's or a staff member at the bridge that can help work with them on that as well.
So are y'all okay having the same software, like let's say the core of this is trying to connect people who are renting the houses with you guys to be able to find vacancies? Are you guys okay using the same system for that? Obviously, because right now what we have to be going off of is the St. Patrick's Center's database of available openings, or connections that you have with different realtors. Yeah,
the bridge, we're looking for the most effective and efficient way to use it. So we're very open to adopting a system that makes it easier for us to do our work. We're not held by any contracts to any particular database right now, and I made it well aware, especially the one that we're utilizing right now. We're open to figuring out what's going to be the best solution for the bridge. But at the heart of what we do, it is really collaboration. We've worked very closely with St. Patrick's Center. There's definitely a better and easier way for us to do our work together.
And I'm not sure if there's a need to connect directly to our system or their system or something else. Hopefully we can already populate initially.
Right, and that's not money.
But as far as,
okay for us to use that.
continual connection, we're not looking at that yet.
Yeah.
That'll be nice in the future.
Yeah, we can open the discussion. We can look at the recommendations, especially after today and after you kind of wrap your head around this. For us, there's no absolute that we're not going to go into another HMIS system or we're not going to use another system. I just want what's going to work best for my organization and my staff to be able to make that connection into housing. And if it's not what we're currently on, I'm open to taking a look at what's going to make that better.
So you mentioned your intake process in the VIC. Do either of those have any implications on what housing can be made available to them?
Yes.
So is it possible that if a certain risk factor comes back, you wouldn't want to see certain vacancies?
I would have that be the decision, not even the decision. So the VI SPDAT basically breaks, once you do the survey with the client or the guest, they basically get a housing acuity score, and that's based on how complex their issues are. And so we know that people that would be participating primarily with these properties are already and names likely.
The landlords give you a criteria that must be met before they will offer a vacancy to one of your clients.
Some landlords do have some sort of criteria. We would like to know what those are, so that we're able to match people to the right housing units. We don't require that they bend whatever their requirements are, but for us, there's definitely a lot of people. I'm sure there's a person right for that property. We want to make sure we know what those eligibility requirements or what those requirements are beforehand.
In terms of landlords, is it mostly individuals that have provisions, or is it landlords with, say, 50 to 100 units?
It could be both. Both, yeah.
So the impetus and the we're needing to find out is what's going to cause these landlords to want to update this, consistently go back and, right?
Yeah. And I think, you know, and I think there's different websites for different landlords, and depending on what they might to charge for what's out there. You know, I don't know what that looks like, or if there's a more successful website out there where people are able to update a lot more efficiently than others. But it's something to take into consideration, because if they have to jump through a lot of hoops just to update information, likelihood is they probably won't do that as easily or as quickly. So it's just finding a way to, you know, once a vacancy comes up, how are you able to keep that information live?
Maybe more of a comment about that though, but since I work for a nonprofit that has housing, you know, a lot of property management companies already have to enter vacancies into a property management system. So I'm thinking like possibly like a front end that would populate with the thing they already have to populate and our database, or like, right, you know, connecting. I mean, basically this work that's already happening. Make that go multiple places.
Is there like a monopoly out there, or is there like a main software that anybody knows of that?
So
what is that? Do realtors use that to be able to keep up with vacant, non-vacant?
I mean,
I think it's the MLS, isn't it? But that's both lease and rent, or lease and owning, or whatever.
I'm gonna ask like a few of our property management firms what they use, but I think it, like, the data they're entering for their purposes is not online. Like it's more like a closed system.
I wonder if it would be better to take the landlord out of the equation and just have like a running system. The last time this individual unit was checked for vacancy by your staff or by the staff. So say like 6 months ago this wasn't vacant, and then have all the ones that were 3 months ago weren't vacant. And but then maybe if the calls that were 1 year ago and weren't vacant, maybe it's time to start like going down to those ones, rather than have the landlords be required to update it, because they seem that they may not have.
As far as the rental, you know, once somebody's been placed, I'm sure that, you know, St. Patrick's Center, you know, case manager is going to go in and note that this place has been taken or something. You know, they can do that as well as the owner. That wouldn't be a bad idea to have a checklist on it, right, saying when was the last update.
Yeah.
So at least you know how old it was.
Yeah. Or maybe even a
right.
Yeah.
Okay.
But as far as putting new stuff in, that almost has to be them, because we don't know when you're going to rent your house.
Yeah.
You know? So that would have to be the landowners. I'm not sure.
What's the minimum information you need to know about a vacancy?
So first that it's open, and then how much the rent is, and then any specific requirements, like if they won't take pets or they don't want smokers, or those are just some of the common ones.
Bedrooms and bathrooms?
Yeah, because not everyone's going to be a single adult. We're going to have some families as well getting placed, so we'll want to know bedrooms, bathrooms,
The address?
Yeah, the location.
definitely the address.
The mapping, the mapping, to see what the community around it looks like is helpful.
So when you say you need to know what's in the community around it, you want to know the school district, you want to know how many Starbucks on the corner?
Yeah, not, you can, like Zillow, you can go in there and it'll pop up search nearby and you get the restaurant, you get.
Okay, so I guess what I want to drive at is one of the must-haves.
And on that same question, are there certain kinds of funding that maybe some would accept that others wouldn't? Like,
Yeah, it could be, does that have Section 8 vouchers work too? Knowing that.
so do you guys ever house anyone at a place that doesn't take Section 8?
There was just a law passed, or an ordinance passed by the Board of Aldermen that you cannot discriminate against Section 8 as a source of income. So landlords should
For
be
the city
required.
or for the county?
Oh, for the city.
Okay, so that would be an applicant thing to add. Makes sense. That's a good. Oh,
I
there.
know. Glad you were up on that.
That could be an optional type of thing in the system, you know, for the landlord say, you know, oh, you know, here's some things I need to know about the person, you know, do they have pets, do they have kids?
Right.
You know,
We want to know
I
if
don't
it's,
want this, I don't want that, you know.
Another helpful thing is public transportation.
Right.
Access to public transportation.
And I know someone in the who works in the public transportation industry that might be able to give us feedback on. I don't know if they have a listing that we can tap into.
Along with that, is it wheelchair accessible? We have a lot of older buildings that
Right,
aren't
right.
in St. Louis.
And like you were saying, that may not be a requirement, the list, I mean, the list, basically, just, here's the house, this is the location, this is how many beds it has, so I know, you know, these two I can put in there. And then the rest of it will be optional for them to say, these are things that you might want to know about this place.
Yeah.
The more stuff, the better off we're going to be replacing.
A good starting point might be socialserve.com. They have listings of
Although, tell me something more about
properties, but it doesn't tell us real-time vacancies.
Right.
So it just lends to us calling a bunch of places. So that might be a good starting point in terms of some starting information too, in terms of what they put in there.
This could be a benefit. I use the term watering hole, where a bunch of people going to get a particular service. For realtors to realize, hey, if you're able to say, yeah, we look for a house for people 1 to 2 times a week. If I was a guy who had vacant properties within that price range, I'd say, yeah, I know my information on that, because that's providing an opportunity for me to fill those, for me to fill something that's bought.
Is there any tax benefit to the landlords if they take in homeless? Do they get any kind of?
I would like to get, I think they would like to get paid. They have to bill, but there's no other benefits to that.
Which I think that may be the Section 8 thing where variably paid because the government's having it help.
It's a sure thing to be.
That's what rapid rehousing would do,
Because they're getting
with
assistance
limited
from
case
us
management,
to keep them in
until we
work.
can help
You
them
know,
be able
whereas a normal
to
person
maintain their housing on their own. So that would be budgeting,
I don't know about that.
interacting with their landlord,
The rapid rehousing.
anything that would help them to ongoing,
Okay.
I
make
guess
us
for the
feel
first
better.
6 months, I think.
Yeah, we can help, you know, with the finances, but also just helping them themselves keep financed.
Right.
You know, if they're having trouble with transportation, you can help them with that. You know, those type of things, job training, that's what we offer to help them keep themselves housed. Whereas a normal person on the street doing the rental, you don't know what that person can do. That's gonna help us, the real person.
Your Section 8, the bridge, where you guys have
No,
that
we-
fund as well.
So this was brought up through a collaboration between St. Patrick's Center and the Bridge. So right now, we're ramping up this rapid rehousing program, looking for the financing for it. But we also have plenty of people that need homes.
Yep.
And so while we get this program up and going, this is still going to be useful to us because some people do come in with income. They have a job. However, the longer they're on the street, unstable, they're going to end up losing that job.
Right.
So we'll utilize the whatever comes out of this because it will give us easy access to get people placed into homes. And then as we ramp up rapid rehousing and get the financing for that particular program, it's just going to really complement our future programs.
Right.
And as you said, as the watering hole, that's kind of what the benefit to the realtors really too, is that, you know, as we grow, you know, they can list at one spot. We have people that we can send to them.
Right.
You guys will have somebody you can send to them, but we may have other organizations too
That's true.
go onto this. So it's gonna be, yeah, I got 8 places, I'm gonna put it with St. Patrick's Center. They just don't have anybody that fits this. So now it's gonna stay open for them.
Right.
There's definitely opportunity wider than the St. Louis region.
Yeah.
when I was living in Phoenix and creating the same program, and the same questions came up. We were working very closely with our local HUD department. They created a website that showed the landlords in the community, but I go, well, I want to know real time.
Right.
So, I don't know if other communities have launched anything similar to what we're proposing to you, but there's definitely, I think, there's a lot of opportunity out there to bring this to other communities across the nation because the need is there.
I'm just wondering, like, building off your last updated thought, if some kind of vacancy like score, like the probability of this vacancy being vacant is 100% because the landlord updated it yesterday versus it's a 75% chance, and then you can like work down the list in order of like.
Some of it will be, when we sit down with a client, it will be consumer choice. So it's nice to know what real-time vacancies are out there because say there's 5 opportunities within their price range in Captain. We'll say, okay, well, on first glance, and they can have, landlords can put pictures in it, whatever, but they can say, oh, I like these 2. And then we go out and we're able to visit them maybe even that day because we'll have workers that are working with them. So, there's definitely a benefit to being able to have the landlords make the most attractive profiles there because we're just not going to say, hey, you got to live there.
Right.
We're going to ask the people we work with, where do you want to live, and say, which one do you like? We know this is in your price range. This is in the neighborhood you want to be in. And it has to be a little bit competitive. So
I think those two thoughts combined helps it. If it generates out a list based on the most accurate information, I think that I heard a user, like you mentioned, goes into one of your staff members and says, we just called, we don't have an opening, that's marked against them. And so whenever it generates out the list, theirs starts to move down because it has a lower accuracy score. And that, for them, that incentivizes them to say, okay, well, I'm going to take the top of that list.
What goes into somewhat of a rating system to that? They got 100 places, and half the time you call them, they can't help you, or they got, they put somebody in there, and a month later they're having to leave because, bad conditions or something like that. You don't want to use that person.
yeah,
So you can
definitely
rate them
there's a
and
benefit to that.
you keep them moving.
So, do you actually go out, to your point, do you go out with the client to see the vacancy, to see if they want to live there or not, or do you just say, this is something that's vacant, go live there?
Yeah, they have staff there that vet the places. Once our rapid rehousing program gets up and going, and I don't know how SSPF does it, but our case managers will be working with the individuals in their home. So yeah, we're going to have to see the property.
So you go out and see the property as you take the client there, or before you take the client?
I don't. Housing placement piece would be the same.
Yeah, I can't think of all of our programs, but with some of them at least that if I were a social worker working with a client, I'm going to go there and kind of do the walkthrough with them, let them see it, walk around in there before they actually commit to living there.
If a client declines a property, because you saw that there was a big hole in the kitchen floor and the sink was leaking, do you make note of that and reach out to the landlord, or might you just take another client to the same place tomorrow?
Most of our, I know we do have a team that does inspections and gives them a certain amount of time to fix things before they bring it back.
Okay.
Some metadata on that too, like that the staff can just write notes on each property, right? Say, hey, this property had this, and without it being a structured system, just being basically a blank note section. I don't know if that would be even logical or not, but
Well, it wouldn't be searchable, but certainly the fact that the note existed would be a red flag that something needs to be done, and you need to reach out to the landlord and say, has this been fixed yet? Can we?
Yeah, I would type notes like that, both to the landlord as well as to the property.
Yes.
And that way you can look at that landlord and say, oh, here's all the properties and all the issues that we've had with the properties.
Are there any issues around privacy? Does any of the stadiums do get secure or anything like that? Most of the landlords have to be public, I imagine.
Yeah, only if it's tied to the HMIS system where we would have, I think, privacy issues there. But, you know, that's all in question because we're not on the same system. But we're looking for recommendations for that. So.
And for, you know, Zach goes, for this system, we might just keep a location like the bridge, St. Patrick's Center client, you know, number so-and-so.
Yeah.
And that way, there's no personal information on it at all. But you have the capability on that to look at your client. So.
Yeah, I mean, the whole idea with HMIS is for data sharing capabilities amongst providers, and there's unique identifiers. It's just making sure that we're able to bring our systems together. At one point, and that's a wider discussion than just St. Patrick's Center and the bridge. I mean, this is a community-wide discussion that's going on right now.
I mean, try to stay away from personal information. If you've got a St. Patrick's Center number on there, then maybe there's a personnel number associated with it on the system. That way, you tie that same person to that number. You're talking the same person, but you know it, they know it, but nobody else looks at the system and knows what that person is.
It sounds like, though, that this is a several-step system where eventually you could tie the person staying there into a mobile that you could set up the system that contains all the realtors and all the locations, and that necessarily wouldn't be private at all, I would think.
No, that'd be, I don't think that there's any need to know that, that would be privacy issue there.
Yeah, I don't think that, I didn't, in my initial vision of this, I didn't see any client information being tied to
Right.
the realtor information.
Right. It's definitely just a vacancy board, essentially.
Yeah, more robust one.
Yeah.
People that you place into housing, what would you say is the success rate of staying until that person's place chooses to leave?
You would know that kind of.
Well, we kind of know people with moderate need who would be appropriate for rapid rehousing. If they're given kind of that initial support, they're going to be more likely to succeed. Than if someone that's at high acuity is probably going to need that support long term. So.
And then the other issue is, again, client consumer choice. Say they move in, they get the rides together, they find a better, location. They have the ability to move to, or maybe apartment burn down. I mean, there's different scenarios that play into that. So people stay and leave for different reasons as well. It's just how can we more quickly help people get into housing, especially those that are experiencing homelessness.
You guys want to take a break and get some refreshment and just kind of chill for a minute? It's been great, but it's intense.
Well, yeah, I think maybe we're ready to kind of form teams or
Structure.
start to get to work.
Okay. We can stop the broadcast now too. Thanks for everybody listening at home.
Okay.